A lot of you have wondered how to make real estate a side hustle. How do I start generating revenue in real estate without making it my full-time thing? Because the truth of the matter is, all of us that start in real estate, we start off doing it part-time because we're not generating enough revenue at the beginning to currently replace our income. So how do we start this and make sure we're making money? Let's go. Hey there, my name is Mike Fritz, and this video is brought to you by our multifamily masterclass. It's a 60-minute training helping you get into multifamily real estate without using any of your own money. If that training interests you, go down into the description, click that link. You're going to be taken to a page, throw in your email right there, and guess what? You're going to get your free training of how to start generating money in the multifamily game without using any of your own money. And a lot of people think that's fake, like, oh, you can't really buy real estate without any of your own money. I've accumulated over 450 units over the last few years with zero of my own cash. So I tell you that you can do this. You just have to understand the strategies to do it. And especially when you're starting off, you want to start asking that question. How can I do one property on the side? How can I start generating revenue on the side with real estate? And then as it continues to grow, you may be able to go full time. But first we have to start making money right away. So how do we do that? The very first thing you can do to generate revenue in real estate on the side is by leveraging where you live. This is actually called house hacking. Leanne and I, my wife, did this early on in our life quite a few times. It's where we would buy a duplex or a 3-unit and we would live in one of the units and rent the other units out. Now, while that doesn't often create revenue, what it does is it knocks out a mortgage payment. So you don't have any rent payment and you don't have any mortgage payment. So what happens is when your check comes in every month, it's not that you're making money off your real estate, it's that you don't have to be spending money on mortgage or rent. And the cool thing about that is it takes a little bit of discipline, but you can take $700, $800, $900, $1,000, $1,500, depending on where you live, a month and place that into a bank account every single month. And now you're saving anywhere from 12 to 30 grand a year, depending on how much your rent is or how much a mortgage payment would be. And you're saving that every year where you can start investing in real estate. House hacking is one of those things, especially if you are a young entrepreneur or young investor thinking about generating money in real estate. This is really key. If you're single, I would tell every single person in the world, don't rent. Buy a duplex or a 3-unit building in which you can live in one of those units and rent out the other side. And let me tell you why this is a cool option. When you're going to live in it, you get to take advantage of the FHA loan. An FHA loan, the Federal Housing Administration, only requires a 3.5% down payment. So for every $100,000, you only need to come up with $3,500 to get into that property. When my wife and I did this back in 2011, we got a $104,000 property for $3,800, I think we put down on it. And guess what? The other place paid our rent. For $3,800, we didn't pay any money throughout the year for our rent payment or our mortgage payment. This is a key place. So if anybody here is single, in your 20s, you're young, please, 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 this is the way to go. Don't go buy a big house and buy a liability, something that can't make you money. Please don't do that. Buy something that can generate cash, because guess what? Let's say you buy a duplex and one unit is pretty much paying your mortgage and paying all of the utilities and paying all the bills that come with that property. And you're living for nearly free. Guess what? When you do want to buy a house, you move out, you buy your house, then that extra unit also pays for that mortgage of that new place. The idea is leveraging house hacking so you don't have to come up with mortgage payments. Now, I did this on a necessity. When my wife and I first got married, we made very, very, very little money. I was making $10 an hour, and I needed something to take my expenses down. So I asked my parents to help me get a loan. I rented half this thing out, and now I could generate revenue, and I could make my bills every month. So I did it on a necessity, but I didn't know what I was doing till later. It's a brilliant wealth strategy, and every single one of you can get into real estate just by leveraging where you live. The second way you can create side revenue with real estate is by taking your home and placing it on short-term rental sites like Airbnb or VRBO anytime you're gone. So let's say you're going away on a 2-week vacation coming up. You can take your house, put it on Airbnb, and you can rent that house out for 2 weeks on a short-term rental, and you can actually generate revenue anytime you're not in your house. This is a cool way. If you're going on vacation, a lot of times you Airbnb your house out or put it on VRBO, and guess what? That pays for a lot of your vacation. It's another way to create side revenue with what you own. The place you live in is a key piece to your real estate wealth, and it's one of the fastest ways to get into real estate. And this is why I'm not a real big fan of buying your own home right away. As I mentioned, I would house hack, but if you already have purchased a home and you have a home now, the second thing I would do is anytime you go away, put that thing on Airbnb, because obviously you have couches and beds and silverware and everything you need for an Airbnb, and leverage that to generate revenue on the side. Because no matter if you're going away on a business trip or you're going away for vacation, it generates revenue for you. This is a key way to generate revenue on the side in real estate. The third is to become a virtual assistant for real estate investors. So here's what this looks like. If you contacted me and said, Mike, how can I help you in your real estate business? You could start a virtual business where you could connect investors with properties. So you could start finding properties, you could start finding investors, you could just manage their online social media for the real estate business. There's a lot of ways to generate money in real estate without actually having to own the real estate yourself. And one of them is becoming an assistant to an already established investor that needs somebody to maybe manage email communications with tenants, or email communications with managers, or email communications with real estate agents, or maybe they need appointment setters. But virtual assistants essentially are just that. They're assistants where they don't need to live physically, and they just manage a lot of it's on computer, manage a lot of computer work for already established real estate investors. We have that. We have a virtual assistant that helps us manage things. And that's a good piece that you could start to do on nights and weekends. And it's often flexible. That's the power of it. And you can start generating revenue in real estate. The power of doing that specific strategy isn't even necessarily making money from the virtual assistantship. It's the idea that you're learning, you're getting education just by being a virtual assistant. So you're getting education in order to start generating revenue on the side in your own real estate. The fourth thing you could do is what's called bird dogging or deal finding. It's the same thing. It's the idea that no matter where you live, you can start networking in your area, finding deals, and you can find those deals and connect those to investors, and you can do one of two things. You could become a wholesaler and just mark the property up a little bit and wholesale that to another investor. Or what you could do is you could actually take equity in that project. Say, hey, I found the deal, you're bringing in the money, we do the project together, we both get a portion of the profit. But again, if you're finding deals, especially in an inventory short market like we're in right now, you can leverage that by leveraging yourself into either equity or a payday by finding that deal and providing it to an already established real estate investor. Once again, you don't need any money, you just need a little bit of information on how to pull that off. And pulling that off is as simple as starting to network on meetup.com, starting to network in real estate investment associations, the local groups that are around real estate, and start networking to find deals that could fit some investors that are looking for deals in your area. The fifth thing you could do is become a property manager or an Airbnb manager. So let's say somebody owns 5 or 6 units in your area. You could manage those properties for them. You could collect the rents, make sure the tenants are taken care of, make sure you call contractors anytime something needs fixed, and you could generate side revenue without having to be there day in and day out. So starting as a property manager is a great way to go. The second way you could leverage this is become an Airbnb manager. Now, an Airbnb manager is just somebody that says, okay, you've got an Airbnb, I'm going to manage communication with the guests, communication with the cleaners, communication with Airbnb, and communication with our maintenance team. So as you communicate with those 4 different entities in an Airbnb business, it allows people like me who own a lot of Airbnb, it allows people like us to be free. We don't have to do all of that. And you could generate side revenue by managing those properties for people that invest in properties in your area. Or the cool thing about Airbnb is you can do it virtually. And then the fifth one is you could work to get your real estate license and actually become an agent. The cool thing about a real estate agent, most of their meetings are nights and weekends. And so you could just try to close on 1 deal a month. If you got your real estate license and did 1 deal a month, it would generate another $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month, depending on the size of home you sold. And you could start generating revenue right now without having to spend a lot of money or invest a lot of money into a business. And a lot of people don't get into real estate because they don't have the money. Well, again, we teach you how to raise capital so you don't have to use your own, especially in our free multifamily masterclass, which we put that link in the description. So don't miss out on that training where we're going to teach you not only how to get these properties, but how to get them without any of your own money. Getting into real estate as a side hustle, every single person should do it, because it doesn't matter if you're only into it a little bit or if it blows up into a full-fledged business. The truth of the matter is, real estate is one of the most powerful things in the world. And if you've been around our channel any length of time, you know how much I love it. So again, make sure you subscribe to the channel and join our entrepreneurs and real estate investors that are making a difference. I'll see you in the next video.